I didn't do my haircut for this video. I hope that's okay. Actually grew very long throughout the last days. This is how it happens if you work all the time and you don't go to the haircutter. But we do another video about haircutters later. Today we talk about the apps on my phone, because the last time we did that was October 2018. The world was different back then. I thought, why not make a video like how I use my phone, and do that because it was very helpful on YouTube when I saw that with some other guys. And sometimes I think like it's not interesting like what apps I use, but I also have to admit that I learned through other videos where people shared their favorite apps what to put on my phone and how to organize it. So let's do this. I still have the iPhone 12 mini, which they don't produce anymore because the battery is bad. It's really bad, the battery, but the size is great, so I will stick with the size. Back in 2018 I had the Samsung Galaxy 10, I think. After that the Note, the next one, so always a large screen. Now I have the two things, the Apple Watch and the iPhone. As you can see, I love the rainbow colors anyway, because we kind of have different colors in our logos as well, and our claim is work together. So this is also about integration and diversity and all that stuff. If you like want to bring, well, that's a totally different discussion. However, the thing I use most is this screen. That's my home screen. So the only thing you see on the home screen is the phone app. It reminds me that when I open the phone that this thing here is a phone. That's what it's for. I don't want to see anything else than the phone app, because it's too much distraction. And we made a video about actually no notifications, or as I learned from one of our podcast guests, Nir Eyal, who came up with the word indistractable. I love it. He is a great book author. So this is what I use in order to make sure that I'm not distracted and pulled into whatever the phone dictates me. When I search something, the only thing I do is I swipe down and type, for example, reminders. Or I type settings. Oops, German, settings. Or I want to launch InShot, which is an app I use quite frequently. Back then I used Adobe Rush to make short videos. InShot now got much better and faster, so I swipe down and type in and open, and I have the app. So there's no faster way to launch an app than that on the Mac or on the iPhone or even on the Android phone. Swiping through these apps, I always hated that, I have to admit. Only when I have new apps, I have a second screen like this one here, I would now put that back. What I do is once I download an app, I leave it on the second screen to remind me I want to check it out. If I don't use it for 3 days, I delete it. I check it out once I know what it is. I put it back into the app library and don't have it on the front page anymore. I have to say that due to the low battery from the phone, I switch frequently between the phone and the watch. I use that for making calls a lot, and my people hate it if I do the calls from here because the audio quality is not so good, and I sometimes do that when I'm on the bike or on the go or on the run. But that's a different story because they know me for that as well. And I still use it. I still like the quality of phone calls, and I like it that you can just use the watch, leave the phone at home and just go with that. So switching between the two is very good, and I love it a lot, and I'm very happy that I bought the phone with the watch with the phone function. What else do I use quite frequently? Let me check. Quite frequently I use InShot, as I said, which is my most beloved editing tool. I do a lot of Insta stories like many people do, and the thing is I don't like to use the built-in video from Instagram. And what I like about the watch is I can put the phone anywhere, tell the watch to turn on the camera, and then I can leave the phone and record a video on the go or make a photograph or stuff like that. I used to do that with a Note 10 with a pen because it's a remote. I use To-Do list quite a lot, Erinnerung in German. because it's a very simple tool for organizing to-dos, and I've been using the getting things done method for like years, but I now try to switch to time boxing, so leaving slots in the calendar saying like what's the time that I can actually invest in a certain task, because there are too many things to do. But still, I love the app because I usually then tell Siri, erinnere mich nachher daran, noch die Karte zu schreiben.
Erledigt.
And you know what I love is Siri says, erledigt, it's done. So it gives me a good feeling that the task is done, which is actually not, I don't know, that's quite funny. Calendar, I use it quite frequently. Aura Ring, for sleeping I use the Aura Ring. That's an app I use every morning to see like how did I sleep. And in the beginning I said like, oh, that's crazy because then you stress out about how good or bad you slept. But I now learned to differentiate between deep sleep and REM sleep and understand like why am I actually exhausted or not. And there's a great book for that. It's called Why We Sleep. Great book. I learned a lot about that. So that's an app that actually was added to. I don't consume social media. No Instagram, no Facebook, no LinkedIn. The news I consume is The Economist, I have to admit. So I have the Economist app, Economist. And I use the morning briefing, like this. Go through that. That's the social media I consume. YouTube a lot. YouTube really a lot. Less since I don't have the premium account anymore. WhatsApp, that's my main messaging tool. Slack for the company. But the smaller screen forces me to actually go to the computer and do it there and not on the screen anymore, which is a good thing. And I use built-in Siri speech to text a lot, because it works really well. Hier kommt jetzt mal ein kleiner Text auf Deutsch, den wir testen. Punkt. Wir versuchen gerade ein Video aufzuzeichnen über die Apps, die ich auf dem Telefon habe. Punkt. There's no faster way than this to type. And I'm dyslexic, so it helps me to work without any mistakes. What else? I think that's pretty much it. I'm very focused on what I use. I don't use the counting stuff right now. Like if I move from one to the other apartment, I have stuff to like delivery, like Amazon, Westwing, stuff like that. Pinterest for inspiration, but not really a lot. It's just for more whenever I need it, and that's why I love the screen the most, like this, to not be distracted by the app, but make the decision, okay, I use this now and need it. Oh, payment. Apple Pay with a watch, killer app, definitely killer app. And if I forget it, usually don't have anything else with me instead of this. Any comments that were below? Questions?
Yeah, you used to do much Instagram stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like that?
I do, but still less than I actually want to, that's true, but I use InShot to like actually prepare the Instagram stories. So whenever I make an Instagram story, I use InShot before, and it's true, the videos we produce on YouTube, on Instagram and LinkedIn, I then do on the phone with InShot, but I don't consume Instagram a lot, I have to admit. I'm not very addicted to that. Audible back then, I did much more than now, I just don't find the time. Spotify in the background, yes, for music, but nothing fancy.
And notifications still 0?
Off, nothing. Just if you call, I see it, and usually I have it on that you need to call a second time, and then I make a decision whenever I have time for calls and I open that up, or I make the phone calls. Helps a lot. And I'm still alive since 2018. Didn't miss anything super important. No magic trick, no magic powder. That's it. Thanks for watching. Leave more questions if you have more questions. Subscribe here.